Scrolling is lame. Here's how to do less of it. This tutorial exists because other videos on how not to scroll are either too extreme or emphasize nostalgia or purchasing objects, right? No, this will be about practical advice on how to scroll less. Not entirely, less. Trying to avoid doom scrolling doesn't mean not using the internet entirely. You can do it that way, but it's not the only way to do it. If there's parts of the internet you enjoy, you can still engage with it. Life's about balance, and doing things that spark joy and that kind of thing is good. Doom scrolling is not that fun, as you can imagine though. For whatever reason, scrolling activates the same part of our brain as a slot machine. It can be a bit addictive. And I'll wager most of us are pretty hardwired to scroll because we might see something that we want to see. Or not see, I guess. I'm about to share some practical tips that you can actually implement to scroll less, right? But don't get it twisted. When I use these tips, I still get to watch all the YouTube videos I want to watch. I still game online with my friends and have a good time, right? You don't have to completely not engage with that kind of stuff, right? Because what you'll find is a lot of the scrolling we do is actually stuff we're not that interested in. Next time you catch yourself scrolling, think to yourself, are you interested in the information that you're being shown, I guess? Because if you see the thing you want to see and you're satisfied, you're not going to scroll very much, are you? So understand that it's kind of by design that it's kind of hard to find the thing you're looking for. I know a lot of websites don't want you to do this, but tip number one is to use the search bar. I know it sounds ridiculous, and yes, the search bar is really hard to use. Using a search bar is surprisingly difficult because a lot of websites, such as social media or YouTube, don't really want you to use the search bar because then you're not scrolling. Whenever I sit down to watch a video, for example, when I eat, I might type a thing I'm interested in, whether it's a game I'm excited about coming out, or I just type lost media and I find a cool lost media video, that kind of thing. Typing things isn't perfect, but I find the stuff I want to see on the internet more by typing it in rather than letting an algorithm decide what I'm interested in. Did you know on YouTube, if you delete your video watch history and pause your video watch history, you don't have a home feed, even on mobile. You don't need a third-party extension or anything. If you do those two things, you don't have a home feed. I repeat, that's all you have to do. For about half a year, I have not had a home feed when I use this app. And as you can imagine, since my job is being a YouTuber, I use YouTube a lot. There's no secret, right? I watch a lot of YouTube, right? But it's changed how I use YouTube because I have to use the search bar or watch a video for my subscriptions. For social media, I started using them on browser websites on my phone rather than the apps. I found that if I used browser extensions, I could remove the instant scroll feed of infinite dopamine. Instead, I gotta, hit the search bar, find a thing I'm interested in. My Reddit, for example, doesn't have a big scroll feed. I have to type the thing I want to see. The fear of missing out is very real. It's why we want to scroll, right? We want to see all the things that are happening at any given time. But I can confirm, after half a year of pretty much exclusively not using a home feed of any kind on any social media apps, I didn't miss out on anything. I found out when, games I was excited about were announced, or wow, there's a cool video by a YouTuber I like, or wow, there's a cool post on social media, or oh, this is what my friends are up to. It's kind of wild how social media, scrolling at least, you don't really get given anything of value. Another phone tip in particular is you can actually really customize your phone to try to make it a bit less tempting to scroll on. For example, you can make all your apps the same color in your phone settings. I did this and made all my phone apps pink, for example. I just thought it was cute and aesthetic, at least making my phone fun, but not addictive, so to speak. So I have to kind of think a bit harder of which app is which means I don't mindlessly go from YouTube, close it, open Instagram, close it, open Discord, go back to YouTube in an infinite cycle. No, instead I gotta kind of consciously go, which one of these is YouTube, right? Another thing is that I frequently change where my apps are on my homepage, so I don't memorize where my apps are. That way you gotta really consciously pick the apps that you are opening. This is strangely practical. I don't know why. I think we get into a rhythm. Chances are you know where certain apps are on your phone without looking at your phone. It's kind of wild, actually, despite no tactile feedback. That said, there's a lot of other stuff you can do instead of using your phone. A big tip of mine would be to find an activity that you find fun and not to guilt yourself for enjoying that activity, right? This doesn't have to be a highly productive activity, okay? A lot of these stop scrolling videos will emphasize like a gym grind routine or a study grind routine, that kind of thing, but you're allowed to replace the time you scroll with relaxation, okay? You can replace it with productivity, and you can do both, but I just want to make this clear, you can enjoy relaxating things. You can enjoy relaxing things, okay? It's not a waste of time to sit down for an hour and play a fun video game, right? Especially if instead of that, you're just gonna scroll social media and look at posts that make you angry, right? I think we stigmatize relaxing, whether that's like playing a video game or reading a book or watching a movie or like going for a walk or something. I feel like if I played too many games in a day, I felt guilty, like I was being unproductive or doing the wrong thing. But when I reframed it as I would be scrolling instead of this, it became a bit easier. And I started playing games a bit more than I used to. And I've noticed I've become more productive. Like, yeah, I do a daily workout routine. I do study Japanese as well, because I'm studying for the N2 exam. But, I also, sit down and play a video game. I've been playing Rune Factory 5 lately and it's been so cozy. I didn't dive into it for so long because I felt like I was wasting my time, but it's making me more productive. That said, I find it really weird that a lot of stop scrolling videos emphasize replacing your phone with a retro handheld device of some kind, like in a very consumerist sense. You'll notice a lot of these videos are like, ditch the phone, play old gaming device because old gaming was better. No, you don't have to buy a specific product to relax. If there's a thing that you can play with and enjoy, do that. I think some of these videos get caught up in the nostalgia of it. Nostalgia's fun. If you want to play on an old DS for the sake of nostalgia, that's fine. But definitely don't view it as the only way to avoid your phone, if that makes sense. I go on outings on my own pretty often. I highly recommend it. You can go do things on your own. It's actually a fun way to have a good time, and I guess it does make you scroll less since you're doing stuff actively, right? But point is, when I go to restaurants on my own, which you can do that, by the way, no one cares, don't worry. When you go to a restaurant on your own and you have to wait for your food to be ready, you might be tempted to scroll a bit while waiting. And the other day, I was like, okay, I could pull out the book I was reading while waiting for the food to come out. But then I thought, but it's only going to be like 5 minutes. Do I have time to read a book in 5 minutes? And I was surprised to learn that, yeah, if you do pull out a book for 5 minutes, you can do like a page or two, and then your food's here. And you know what? That felt pretty fun. Sometimes when I wait for food, I might watch a video, I might listen to music, I might, pull out a book like I mentioned before, I might, chill. Sometimes you can be alone with your thoughts too. That's not a bad thing. It actually helps time slow down, so to speak. That was some of the big benefits I found from avoiding scrolling. When I avoid scrolling, I found that time itself moved slower. I felt more present. I felt like I could do more things because suddenly there was more time. And that was pretty surprising. I think that sense of time accelerating at breakneck speed is amplified by a lot of social media use. If we're scrolling a lot, we're always overstimulated in our brain. That's going to make the world feel even more intense and overstimulating than it already is. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and it can be a lot, but letting yourself chill and slow down a bit makes it a little easier to wrap your head around. You'll notice when you are a bit more present and actively doing things, time does move slower. If I go, I don't have time to go to the bowling alley, for example, and just play bowling for like an hour and then come back. But when I opt to do that, that day does feel a lot longer, yet it was fun. It's strange that if I sat in the same position for like 3 hours and scrolled, the time feels a lot quicker than if I, walked down, went to a bowling alley, bowled, walked back, that kind of thing. Even if the same amount of time was spent, it's strange that despite the bowling alley being way more fun, it felt like more time. And that's the thing with humans and memory. When we do novel experiences, new experiences, different locations, simply occupying a different space, time slows down. And when time slows down, it feels so much more calm and happy and fun. I reckon that's the reason to avoid scrolling, because that sense of presence is beautiful. You want to fill in your time with different things. You still have time for your passion art projects. You still have time to get your work done, your study done, your exercise done. You find time to hang out with friends, IRL. I've been doing a lot more IRL socializing lately, and maybe a lot of people have been too. I understand the internet is viewed in a very bleak manner, as if it's all bots arguing with each other and there's no human spirit left on the internet. There is, but I think it's easier to find it when you're actively going online and searching for the thing you want to see on the internet. When you open your device, computer, what have you, you have opened a portal and you can access so much information, so much art, so much human creation, so much passion. But big companies will try to feed you stuff that you don't want to be fed. It can warp your perception, it can make you give up. But when you're surfing the net, you're in control of that surfboard. I think in society, we've normalized scrolling as our default state of being. That means that when we're in public, no matter where we are, we socially feel comfortable with scrolling, right? Whereas pulling out a video game console or a book in public can feel a little scary. What do people think? What do people assume about me based on it? If someone's holding a phone and scrolling, you have no idea who they are or what they do, right? But if you're on a train and you see someone with a book and you can read the cover, you might stereotype this person, right? If you walk past someone and the book says Spanish for Dummies, right? You're gonna be like, oh, they're learning Spanish, right? You have something about them in your head, and you might have a preconceived notion about that person as a result. But the thing to remember is that the opinions of others, especially people that you will never see again, it doesn't matter. No one cares. Like, when you're on a train or a bus or waiting for your food or just chilling in a park or something, just occupying space, you are allowed to do something that is visually different than scrolling on your phone, even if it makes you stick out. I was once at an airport terminal and I had some time to kill before my flight. I did some push-ups and danced a bit. Like, who cares? No one cares. Like, no one talked to me. No one acknowledged that I did it. Life went on. You can do stuff, even if it makes you stick out. Sticking out is just a side effect of avoiding a mainstream trend. And in this case, that mainstream trend is scrolling. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed so that if you do eradicate your home feed, you see my future videos if they interest you. You can hit the funny like button, you can comment something really friendly, maybe let me know something you've done instead of scrolling recently, or even come back to this video if you found it effective or that kind of thing. I'll be happy to read what happens. Well, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed. As always, stay hydrated and know that you are valid. I'll see you next week.